Human rights, a concept central to the dignity of all humanity, stems from the longing for equality and freedom. It transcends geographical and cultural boundaries, becoming a global consensus. Yet, the definition of human rights was not achieved overnight. It emerged through countless ideological clashes and practical experiences, ultimately crystallizing into the core of universal values. In 1948, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights UDHR was born, like a beacon guiding the chaotic post-war international community. It championed the ideals of liberty and equality, proclaiming that everyone is entitled to inalienable rights. Although the declaration itself lacks legal binding power, it has become a cornerstone of international law, inspiring the creation of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights (ICCPR) and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights (ICESCR). The development of human rights has not followed a linear path. Instead, it has been fraught with twists and challenges. The abolition of colonialism, the advancement of women's rights, and the protection of minority groups. These milestones represent not only revolutionary breakthroughs but also slow, yet impactful, transformations. At the same time, regional conflicts, authoritarian regimes, and economic disparities cast dark shadows over the ideals of human rights.
Human Rights and the Sustainable Development Goals (CGAGS), a shared vision. Human rights and the CGAGS are essential for creating a fair and sustainable future. In 2015, the UN adopted 17 goals to address global challenges by 2030. CGAGS 1 to 5 focus on eliminating poverty, hunger, and inequality, promoting health, and ensuring education for all. CGG 4, Quality Education, strives to ensure inclusive and equitable access to education for all, whether for children in urban centers with abundant resources or those in remote, underserved areas. Gender equality is a cornerstone of human rights and the central theme of CGG 5. Across the world, many women and girls have faced or continue to face inequality and discrimination. From legislation to policies, nations are working to ensure equal rights and opportunities for women and men. Beyond individuals, the CGAGS tackle global challenges. CGG 6, Clean Water and Sanitation. CGG 7, Affordable and Sustainable Energy. CGG 8, Decent Work and Economic Growth. CGG 9, Innovation and Infrastructure. CGG 10, Reducing Inequality. CGG 11, Sustainable Cities. Environmental goals include CGG 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. CGG 13, Climate Action. Climate change is not just a scientific issue. It's a human rights issue, too. Environmental rights, such as the right to a clean and healthy environment, are deeply connected to CGG 13 in China. For example, the forest coverage rate has doubled over the past 40 years, thanks to large-scale reforestation projects. These efforts underline how environmental protection safeguards our health and survival. Finally, CGG 15 protects biodiversity. CGG 16 promotes peace and justice, and CGG 17 builds partnerships to achieve these goals. Together, human rights and the CGAGS send a clear message: leave no one behind and build a better future for all.
As citizens, each of us has the right to live in a clean, safe and healthy environment. Human rights and the environment are interdependent, and the environment is the prerequisite for realizing human rights, such as the right to life and the right to health. But with the development of science and technology, environmental issues is becoming increasingly serious. Examples include global warming, biodiversity loss, energy reduction, air and water pollution, and natural resource depletion. Social provides a place for the practice of human rights. The realization of human rights requires the support of social systems and laws. The social factors include: by lowering oppression and injustice, improve people's satisfaction, foster social unity, legal support, fairness and justice, supports the realization of human rights through laws and systems. Governance plays a vital role in protecting human rights. Governments protect the rights of their citizens through laws, policies, and international cooperation. Through global cooperation, treaties and laws are enacted to solve major environmental and social problems. Let human rights are better implemented and reflected.
United Nations and Human Rights is an organization in this world. In 1945, the United Nations was founded with the core mission of eradicating the blight of war and promoting human rights and dignity. On Human Rights Day 2021, High Commissioner Michelle Bachelet will invite us all to join efforts for equality so that we recover better, fairer, and greener from this crisis. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought the world to a major crossroads. Either we take the route of collective action and concretely address the pervasive inequalities that have risen across the globe, or we continue on the route filled with deep-rooted injustices and pervasive inequalities. Since October 7, 2023, the cruel war has triggered an unprecedented humanitarian disaster in the Gaza Strip. The Israeli occupation of Pakistani territory is an illegal and inhumane act. The United Nations Security Council passed a long-awaited resolution, marking a breakthrough after months of stagnation and suffering.
Forces have responded with airstrikes into the densely populated Gaza Strip.
The Gaza Strip is sealed off completely.
From north to south, there's no place safe.
The shops are going to run out of basic food items within days.
Famine in the northern part of Gaza is imminent.
We have the supplies, the teams, and the plans. What we don't have is access.
We need every single crossing into Gaza opening.
Incubators need fuel, they need electricity.
UNRWA is facing a deliberate and concerted.
We stand today at the threshold of a great event, both in the life of the United Nations and in the life of mankind.
All are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law.
Toute personne a le droit de prendre part librement à la vie culturelle de la communauté, de jouir des arts et de participer au progrès scientifique et au bienfait qui en résulte.
لكل شخص حق في التعليم، ويجب أن يوفر التعليم مجانا على الأقل في مرحلتيه الابتدائية والأساسية.
Брак может быть заключен только при свободном и полном согласии обеих вступающих в брак сторон.
凡受刑事控告者，在未经获得辩护上所需的一切保证的公开审判而依法证实有罪以前，有权被视为无罪。
Toda persona tiene deberes respecto a la comunidad, puesto que solo en ella puede desarrollar libre y plenamente su personalidad.
Join us in raising awareness of basic human rights. Record yourself reading an article of the Declaration in your own language.
Everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and his family, including food.
Stand up for human rights. Add your voice.
Frequently, states are not fully committed to the protection of the human rights standards in their own territory, even though they have voluntarily accepted them. And often, they are even less interested in working with other states for the protection and promotion of human rights abroad. Even though a variety of mechanisms for human rights protection exist,
individuals, as rights holders, are frequently overwhelmed or intimidated when confronting powerful state authorities over human rights violations. This is where NGOs, as engines of human rights protection, enter the stage. It is widely acknowledged that national, regional, or international human rights protection mechanisms would not function without them. The human rights system depends on NGOs, monitoring states' compliance with human rights standards, collecting reliable information, acting as watchdogs, upholding permanent pressure on state authorities to act according to international human rights standards, identifying gaps in the protection of human rights and assisting state authorities in closing them by changing policies and practices, lobbying for and assisting in the development of new human rights standards and mechanisms with state authorities, international organizations, and the media, urging states to ratify human rights agreements and to accept international monitoring and adjudication by treaty bodies, fighting individual violations of human rights, either directly or by supporting particular test cases, strategic litigation through relevant courts, supporting victims of human rights violations to claim their rights, or providing them with direct assistance through psychological, medical, financial, or other support, promoting knowledge of and respect for human rights among the population through trainings, events, publications, campaigns, empowering individuals to claim human rights for themselves and others, raising awareness and thus mobilizing the public for human rights issues, creating a mass of human rights defenders.